I received the new Cochlear BAHA 6 Max, and there are things you need to know before you decide to purchase it. During my demo, I had to stop wearing the BAHA 6 Max and go back to my BAHA 5 sound processor. What would I cover in this video? What I like and don't like about this sound processor? It has been 4 to 5 years since the BAHA 5 came onto the market. Selfishly, I expected a lot of improvement. As a bone-anchored hearing aid wearer for over 20 years, I am going to share with you whether the BAHA 6 Max met my expectations or not. Hello, my name is Yat. I'm deaf without hearing aids, hard of hearing with hearing aids. I was born with microtia, where I don't have outer ears. And I've been wearing a bone-anchored hearing aid for over 20 years. I wear ear prosthetics and I make videos documenting my journey with hearing loss. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video. It helps the channel a lot. I also have a new Etsy shop that carry inspirational stickers for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. Specifically, I dedicate this Etsy shop to microtians, children, young adults, seniors who have microtia. And currently, I'm doing a special right now. The first 10 people who buy stickers will receive a $10 voucher off of future purchases on my Etsy shop for stickers you see, stickers you like that you want to give to your friends, birthday gifts, special occasions. You will receive $10 off from me. All you have to do is buy a sticker, leave a review, send that screenshot over to me, and you will receive this special voucher code from me. It's that easy. Alright, back to the BAHA 6 Max. I recall when it was my turn to demo the BAHA 6 Max, I was like a child on Christmas Eve. I was anxiously waiting to see what was inside that box. However, because of my abutment infection, which I covered in my previous video, which I'll link below in the comment section, I could not wear the BAHA 6 Max. Almost a month later, after applying over-the-counter antibiotics, the Futidine cream, did my swelling from the infection go down. After a month, I was able to make another appointment to go back to revisit my first appointment, which is to fit myself with the new BAHA 6 Max. I also found out from my initial fitting that the BAHA 6 Max coupling system did not fit my abutment. The coupling was too short, and when I wore the BAHA 6 Max, it created a ton of echo. As a result, the audiologist went back and ordered the extended snap coupling BAHA 6 Max. Normally, 90% of you would fit no problem, and because I do have an older abutment and the profile of my ear on the right hand side makes it a little bit difficult for me to wear the new snap coupling. The BAHA 6 snap coupling that I'm wearing, the extended one, is only a couple of millimeters longer. Those millimeters make a big difference. Now, do I like the BAHA 6 Max? While wearing the BAHA 6 Max for the very first time, I was able to pick up high frequency consonants really well. That meant picking up the S's and the T's and the F's and all of those high frequency sounds that I heard in the past but not as pronounced. Now I'm hearing it really well. But that also means picking up other high frequency sounds like cutleries and dishes bang each other. Now that took some time to get used to. It wasn't too friendly at first because I was not used to it. I also noticed that while wearing the BAHA 6 Max, there were a bit of compression and suppression of sounds as well. I'll have to admit I heard less of my fiance's voice the first time wearing it. Her voice was not as pronounced as when I was wearing the BAHA 5. Now, for some of you, that might be a good thing. For me, not so much. I want to hear her voice. I want to have a conversation, as I'm sure you do, but I do know sometimes you wish to turn that hearing aid off. I also could not hear the sound of my car's engine revving, for example. Now, I don't drive a sports car, nothing too fancy, just a regular sedan, but I do like to hear the engine revving, so I couldn't hear that as well or as pronounced as before, and I'll be honest, I missed that. The verdict is, on my first day and the first couple of days wearing the BAHA 6 Max, I wasn't a big fan. I actually went back to my BAHA 5 until my second fitting. On my second fitting appointment, which was about 3 weeks after my first fitting, I told my audiologist all the concerns that I have and the problems that I experience with the BAHA 6 Max. I told her that there were times I couldn't hear footsteps, I couldn't hear the foot tapping on the ground, for example, in loud environments, because I was drowned by high frequency sound. My audiologist made key adjustments to the programming and lowered the high frequency sound to really match and pair with my hearing loss. She also changed the mic settings as well to omnidirectional, so the BAHA 6 can surround itself using the idiom settings to really cover all the 360 surrounding sound environment. As a person with conductive hearing loss, I do appreciate being able to hear everything through the bone anchor hearing aid. I had hope that it doesn't do too much to try to dictate what I should and should not hear. After the second fitting, the results were spectacular. I could hear the engines revving again, I could hear my fiance, I could hear a whole bunch of other things that the initial programming did not cover. And ever since the second fitting, I've been wearing the BAHA 6 Max every single day. I've been going to the golf course with it, I've been going to restaurants with it, I've been in a loud environment, I've been in a bar as well, just to see what those different environments are like and how well I can adapt to it. What I like about the BAHA 6 Max is the streaming capabilities. The direct streaming from Apple to the device is seamless, and even though I don't have an Apple device, as an Android user, I found it really easy to connect to my sound processor through a phone clip and a mini mic. I also noticed stark differences. I no longer hear beeps when I try to transition to different programs when streaming music or listening to podcasts. In the past, with the BAHA 5, when you toggle or when you first connect to the phone clip or a mini mic, there is a minor beep that is about a second long, which is a second too much, I believe, and now there's no longer that transition beep, which is very useful in seamless connection. The sound quality of the wireless streaming has also improved significantly. Streaming music is much crisper and there's less noise and grain. I know, it's funny, listening to someone with a conductive hearing loss talk about sound, music, noise, grain, and all of the intricacies and the beauty of sound, but really, believe me, there is a stark difference. The reason why the audio streaming quality has improved with the Cochlear BAHA 6 Max is because of the new LE audio that's installed in the processor. Previously, the BAHA 5 operates on the Bluetooth Classic radio, while the new BAHA 6 now operates on the Bluetooth Low Energy Radio. LE radio significantly improves the sound quality. I also appreciate and like the fact that the new BAHA 6 Max uses significantly less battery. The idiom platform has improved processing power and lowered the power consumption than previous predecessors while maintaining power and sound quality. In the past, because I often streamed webinars for work, calls, and podcasts and music, I was only able to get at most 4 days of battery life on my BAHA 5. Today, currently I'm on day 6 with my battery and it's still working. That's already 50% better than before. And depending on how you use it, how often you wear it, how often you stream, battery life consumption depends on your day-to-day use. What I don't like about the BAHA 6 Max, this is not so much of a dislike, but I think it's a fair assessment that there is a bit of a transition time, adjustment period to use the BAHA 6 Max. You will need some time to get used to it. There is an adjustment period and you should not expect the sound processor to be 10 times better than what you're currently wearing right off the bat. Like all the hearing aids I've worn, I do recognize that wearing the BAHA 6 Max from previously the BAHA 5 has taken a little bit of a longer adjustment period. There's a lot of programming involved and there's fitting. This one has taken a little bit longer than my previous ones. What you want to do is what I did. I took notes from the first time I wore the BAHA 6 Max. I took them all on my phone. I included things like not being able to hear the water faucet as well, for example, to talking about, the plates clanging each other and listening to profound high frequency sounds, and all the way to not being able to pick up conversations in a loud environment as well as before. You gotta capture all of those and share that with your audiologist. They will then be able to assess your scenario and be able to program it and program your BAHA 6 Max the way you want it to, and tailor the way you should be able to pick up all the different elements of the world. Be sure to be friendly to your audiologist as well, because chances are it may also be the first time they're using the Cochlear BAHA programming systems and modules. My audiologist did tell me there is a bit of a change from the BAHA 5 modules and programming to 6. And please be patient with them. They're also learning. Now, what am I going to grade the BAHA 6 Max? I give the BAHA 6 Max a solid B+. The sound quality is significantly better than the BAHA 5. Streaming is much more seamless. It integrates itself really well with the LE radio. And the sound processors appear to handle the elements of the day-to-day dust, rain, moisture, and even drops really well. The new BAHA Smart app is simple and easy to use and allows users to make basic changes to treble and bass. Where the BAHA 6 Max does not get a higher score from me is because of the programming that the audiologists have to do. The audiologists have told me that some of the customization on the BAHA 6 is not available compared to other brands. And these programming is really important for audiologists to hear and to understand how well you are hearing, how well you're using it. Some of those are not available to audiologists, and that is a downfall. Because it doesn't allow for greater and maximize the customization of the hearing aid and the sound processor, I do think there could be more that is being done there to allow audiologists to take a full 360 dive of your hearing assessment. I also think the BAHA 6 Max does too much. It tries to dictate how I should hear and things I should pick up or things I should not pick up. I think I want to hear everything, and I want my brain to process everything and not something to tell me what to and what not to hear. So I do think being able to pick up everything instead of just nitpicking and instead of just relying on the BAHA 6 Max to tell me what and what not to hear, I think it could be better if there were less programming. Obviously, that is a personal decision. Some of you might prefer what the BAHA 6 Max is currently doing, processing everything. Some might not. Some might prefer to be able to pick up everything around them. I do find myself hearing a lot of compression and suppression now. I do find that when closing the door, it's like a whoosh of sound because it's trying to compress the loud sound from closing of the door or bang of a drum, for example. I remember the first time going into a basketball court, bouncing a basketball, and the bouncing of the basketball, the sound of it is so weird because it kept compressing every bounce. It was so annoying. I had to go back and tell the audiologist, of course. Took that note for my second fitting. Ever since that's been fixed, but there are still some minor elements where there's loud noises. It's hard to hear the fulsome loud noise, for example. The $1 million question, or a question worth thousands of dollars because of the price tag tied to the BAHA 6 Max, is should you buy it? Is this for you? Obviously, you want to connect with your audiologist to see if you should be upgrading to a BAHA 6 Max or not. Cochlear did send a mail and email to current BAHA 5 users that the BAHA 5 will be discontinued in 2023. That means they will not make any more of them, and they will not provide support to them. I do wish this was extended and it allows users a longer time period to either think about buying the BAHA 6 Max or at least trial the BAHA 6 Max, and they give people more time. And part of the reason why there's a lower score and not like an A+, for example, is because of how fast Cochlear wants us to change and to get rid of really the BAHA 5, which there's nothing wrong with the processor. Things are working. If you have it, keep using it. But obviously, if it's been a while now, if there are certain things that are not working as well, you do want to think about upgrading them to the BAHA 6 Max. I do encourage you to look at the new BAHA 6 Max where possible with your audiologist and consider upgrading. The bone conduction market is quite small. If you use a dedicated Cochlear Dermalock abutment, you can only wear the BAHA sound processors, but if you use an older abutment, a universal one, like myself, you have the option of choosing the BAHA from Cochlear or the Oticon Ponto 4. In conclusion, I think it's encouraging that Cochlear made the BAHA 6 Max. I think it's the right step. I think the music quality is better, sound quality is better, lots of high frequency sounds that you can hear now. And I do think this is a very, very good sound processor, especially if this is a first introduction to a sound processor. You're gonna love this. If this is your second or third sound processor, you will still like it. It will take you some time to get used to. Let me know in the comment section below if you will be buying the BAHA 6 Max sound processor or not. If you're already wearing the new sound processor, let me know what you like and don't like about it. Be sure to subscribe to Let There Be Ears, like this video, and hit the bell icon to receive the latest videos from me. No ears, no fear. Until next time, goodbye!